Shut up and sit down.
Hi again, welcome back to Not a Writing Vlog. Today I want to talk a little bit about the difference between category and genre. And I know I said I wasn't going to talk about writing. I promise you that this discussion relates more to the marketing side, the business side of your writing career. So one thing that happens a lot when I tell people what I do, that I write YA, people mistake YA for a genre. So they think YA is a genre. Young adult is not a genre. Young adult is a category, and it's a marketing category. And the thing that defines it is that it is marketed towards teenagers. Now, it's true that a lot of people who aren't teenagers read YA, but that doesn't change the fact that that's how it's positioned in the market. So you might have noticed that when you go to a bookstore, you will find the YA books in the teen section. And if you go to the library, you will find the YA books in the teen section. Sometimes it's called the young adult section. That's the marketing category. Now, what are the other categories? There's romance, for example. Now, romance, of course, is kind of a genre, but it's so broad that it's really more of a category, and it's also a way of exploring those genres. So if a romance, for example, has a science fiction setting, then it's not really considered science fiction unless it's something a little different from romance. So it would still be categorized as romance, and that's the category. Within that category, there are genres. Just like in young adult, you can have science fiction young adult, you can have mystery young adult, you can have historical young adult. It's the same with romance. So romance is another broad category. Another category is literary. A lot of literary fiction is contemporary, but there is also historical literary fiction, and there is some literary fiction that leans more towards some of the other genres, which we might call genre fiction. So science fiction or fantasy, for example. But a lot of literary is either historical or contemporary, and that's its own section in the bookstore again. So why is this important to you as a writer outside of what you're writing? Obviously, if you're writing something, you need to know kind of what it is. The reason that it's important is because once you've written something, or even while you're writing it, you need to know how that's going to fit into the market. If you want to be a professional author, you need to know where it's going to sit on the shelf, literally, where it's going to sit on the shelf in the bookstore. And your agent or the editor that you approach with your work is going to ask you that question. So you need to know, when you pitch your work, what is its category and what is its genre. So for example, when I pitch my work, when I pitched my last book, Zero Repeat Forever, I said that it was young adult science fiction. So young adult is the category, science fiction is the genre. Now you can say adult science fiction, so that's the category adult, and the genre science fiction. You could try to pitch something as literary science fiction. There is a place for that. It's not as common, but science fiction itself is so broad, and it usually gets its own section in the bookstore, and within that category there's a whole bunch of genres. So that's something to be aware of too. It's really important for you to understand where your work's going to fit in the market once you get to the point of pitching it to agents and to editors. What category is it? What genre is it? And what is the difference between category and genre? Very important. You can look into it more because there's a lot of information about that on the internet. Make sure that you understand that aspect of what you're writing, and that will actually have an impact on how you write it, because once you understand what your category is and what your genre is, you will be able to look into what are the tropes, what are the expectations, what should I avoid doing, what should I try to do, who am I writing for, understand who your reader is. That's got a lot to do with what the category is and what the genre is. So I hope that's helped. Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.